folks, welcome back to The Gifted Ones, and I'm your host, Liz Throp. Today we have an incredible show in store for you. It's all about consciousness, awareness, and how we are all psychically connected. And our guest is John Crawley. Thank you so much, John, for joining us today. John is an internationally recognized intuitive medium and has been delivering messages of love and validation for over 15 years. Not only does Jonathan bring strong validation and evidential information from loved ones who have passed, but healing messages as well. He has a direct communication channel with spirit that grows as we become more aware of our inner light and higher self. You can catch him live most Wednesday nights on his Facebook page, John Crawley, which we'll have at the bottom of the screen for those interested. And welcome to The Gifted Ones, John.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about this connection that we all share together.
Right.
This oneness, this intuitive ability that we all have.
Exactly. Well, I've been trying hard to get in touch with you. Well, not trying hard, but we've been trying to reach out to each other for a while now. And I'm like so excited to have you on the show because I've watched your Facebook lives and they've made me excited. It's been wonderful to catch you live. So anybody who wants to catch you live should definitely do that. So let's get going on the interview here, John. Please explain to our viewers what your gifts are.
Well, as far as my gifts go, I don't really look at it as a gift. I believe that we're all connected. We all have this non-physical energy inside our body. We call it our soul. And we can call it whatever you want to call it, consciousness or life force energy. It's all the same thing. But I believe that by calling it a gift, it really isn't a gift. It's who we really are. But, you know, I've been connecting for a long time, connecting to my soul. And I believe that once we reconnect back to this feeling centers in our body, that everybody can tune into the spirit world. Everybody has this ability to connect.
I agree.
So as far as my gifts go, I'm a psychic medium, and I do psychic work and mediumship work. It's been a beautiful journey, but I just want people to know today, like when I'm talking about it, that it's not really a gift. We're connecting back. We're remembering who we are.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. You know, I have been a great believer for forever that we are all psychically connected and that we are all psychics. Every single human being has that exact ability to do what you and I both do. The way I explain it to people is that some of us just flex our muscles a little bit more. So like if I went to the gym every day, I'd be able to lift bigger, stronger, heavier things, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm working on that process all the time. It's no different than our psychic muscle. If we're focusing and using it on a daily basis, it gets stronger and stronger. Would you agree? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't, like, in the psychic ability, how it works is really just going into the heart center. And once you when you start feeling that energy inside your body, there's this inner voice throughout the awakening. I'm not going to get into, like, details that people won't understand, but your mind becomes connected to your heart. And when your mind becomes connected to your heart, you start hearing this inner voice, which is your intuition, your higher self. And from that point on, that's where you have the channel to spirit.
Right.
That's what the spirit is. That's how they communicate. So a lot of people wonder how this works, you know. I don't hear it in a different voice.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I hear it in my voice.
I hear it in my voice, in my mind. But I feel the presence of spirit, whether it's a male, female. And then I listen to my mind and I bring my awareness to this place where I can get information, where I'm hearing their information and I can ask them questions through that awareness. And that's all this really is awareness. We're all connected. It's just that we, you know, learned this human conditioning has learned, like, we're using our mind all the time. And this really isn't a mind thing. It's heart. We got away from the heart, you know, because of how we were raised or something. So once we unlearn certain patterns that keep us feeling disconnected from our soul, then we come back to this place and then we start hearing that inner voice and then we start awakening back to who we really are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I always explained it a little differently. Like, I like your idea of that it comes from the heart. That's a beautiful way of thinking of it. And I never really put that into perspective before, so that's an interesting thought. I always explained it to people that we all come with a group of guides, right? So everyone's born with guides and spirit guides. And your guides connect with my guides, and I'm like the person that connects with my guides, so I get the information from them. And so that's how I've always been able to explain it to myself, right? Because we all ask those questions. How do I do this, right? So that's interesting that, you know, you're bringing it from the heart up, and you know, and it's that way of doing it. But I get the same as you, John. I don't hear. It's only ever happened a couple of times where I've heard somebody else's voice, but typically it's my own voice. And I think that's kind of strange to people. They expect us to be hearing. You know, it does happen. There are people that do hear loved ones on the other side's voices. But for the majority of the people that I speak to, it's our own inner voice. So interesting.
It's our own inner voice, the spirit speaking through that channel as we connect into the higher awareness, the higher self. As we merge with the non-physical energy, merging with our higher self to meet spirit. And when we meet spirit, you know, they'll start talking to us about all kinds of different things, you know, and it's really not that hard to do. I mean, a lot of people think it's just this thing, you know, I don't have this gift. And really, if you just sit there for a moment and you write something down on a piece of paper, it could be a question about anything. You'll find out so much. You just have to listen to your mind, listen to your energy body. What's your energy body saying? Because it communicates in a way where it's very intelligent, where it gives you feelings and your thoughts are feelings. You know, so if I'm thinking about a job, I'm thinking about a relationship, I write it down on a piece of paper. How does that make you feel? So you want to know about your relationship, then feel it. Does it feel good or does it feel bad? Does it feel off? What's going on there?
Yeah. That's
your intuition, and you can find out, okay, should I be in this relationship? Feel it again.
Exactly.
It's really not that hard to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you mentioned a term, energy body. Just for the viewers at home that don't know what that means, what exactly defined energy body? Just feelings. We're you know, really just energy body. I mean, it's just the feeling inside of your body, the energy that lives within you and around your body. Perfect. And that's your soul inside your body. But really, just making it simple. Just making it simple. Just feel everything around you. We all have this ability to feel. Okay. So the energy, like, explain what energy body is, like consciousness is so just really, I'm not going to talk about the chakras, but just, you know, the feeling centers in your body. So just call them feeling centers. And that's where I go. That's what I feel all day long. I feel I'll just talk about chakras anyway. Do it. So I feel all of them. I feel my root chakra up to my crown chakra, and that's where my energy comes from. So those, you're a vessel. You're the vessel for energy. You're the vessel for spirit. Absolutely. You know. Absolutely. Well, we're going to discuss consciousness, and it's kind of a light topic, not, but, you know, in all seriousness, what does consciousness mean to you? Consciousness means, like, it's just, you know, consciousness means it's just that we're all connected, so a lot of us can't see past the veil, but we're coming to this new place, this new age. We're in a new time right now where people are opening up. And I feel like we're coming to a place where people are actually starting to get back, and they're starting to feel like, oh my God, there's something else here. And I don't call spirit, I call them divine as one energy. Okay. I call them divine as one energy. So I feel like when we reconnect back to the divine energy that we're all connected to, everything else falls into place. How do we reconnect back to consciousness? How do we know what consciousness feels like? It's very simple. It's not, you stop identifying. The first thing is opening up and stop identifying with the mind. So we learn meditative techniques that bring us back into the light of consciousness. The mind does all kinds of things. That's what takes us away. So when we're not using the mind, when we're allowing the mind to do whatever it wants to do, we're allowing it,
we come back, and then it becomes still again. And your mind becomes still. You start feeling that energy that's non-physical.
Beautiful.
And that's the consciousness I'm talking about. You become more aware. You become more alert. You see through. Like, I'd be talking to someone. You're not trying to read them, but you can. Sometimes that'll come into your awareness. You'll see things past. It's not just a 3D. You're seeing it now in a 5D.
Yeah. So we've been hearing that term a lot, and there will be people who are watching this who don't understand that. Can you define the difference between 3D and 5D?
The difference is only difference is the vibration. It's that people are desensitized. The reason why they're in a 3D is because the vibration hasn't gotten to the point to reach 5D, and that's all they have to do really is practice meditation, practice open up to this channel, this divine channel. When they do that, this non-physical energy merges with the physical energy, comes back as one, and then there's a balance from the physical and non-physical world, and then that's when everything falls into place. Some people are not spiritual, they're connected to this life force energy that feel it all the time. They might not be aware that it's the divine, but it is the divine, and that's where we're able to, from that place, we're able to manifest things that we wouldn't normally be able to do.
Right.
But the reason why, in the lower vibration of the mind, brings us, the mind is everything in this. The mind is everything. So we learn that the mind is not in control, and we learn techniques, then we connect back to your higher self, whatever, your soul, whatever you want to call it, spirit, and everything else falls into place, because you have to feel connected in order to receive this abundance, this whatever's going on in your life, for that to change. You have to feel connected. And a lot of people find themselves in difficult spots, and they're wondering, why can't I get out of this spot? Why isn't God helping me? Why isn't divine helping me? The reason why is because they want you to realize that as much as it sounds bad here, but we've chosen certain experiences in our life, even though we thought we didn't choose it. We have chosen. We can choose whatever we want. We can choose pain. We can choose bliss. We can choose whatever path you want to take, whatever experience you want to take. You're in control. You are the divine, and the divine is part of you. It's one energy. So it's up. So really explaining to people, to get it across, if you're struggling with anxiety or depression, the first thing to do is really come back to yourself and be like, it's not an external. There's no external reason for it. There's no. People want to blame everybody else but themselves, but really you're creating this experience within yourself. At the end of the day, that's where it happens. Why people feel a certain way, or why they feel stressed out, is because of the mind. They're like, well, how do I get better? And then they try to control the mind, and they try to push these thoughts out instead of allowing the thoughts, instead of accepting certain things in their life. Maybe it was something happened when they were younger, where it was a tragedy, and sometimes those things take time to heal. But you come to a place eventually where you have to say, you know what, this happened. I accept it. It might be hard to accept because there's many different ways, but when you accept whatever happened, you just accept it, then those feelings will start going away. So whatever the sadness was, if you're going through grief or whatever, those feelings will turn into love. Those feelings will turn into love. So that's really where we want to start. We want to write this stuff down. We want to be, okay, so what's making me feel stressed out? What's making me feel stressed out? Why am I feeling this way?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you write it down, you accept it, you move on, and then you just sit there, you start to meditate, and you just release, you just allow it, allow the mind, and you come back into the heart center, and that's where everything happens.
So I think the key thing is, along the way, is mindfulness. Meditation is, it's a one-man sport. Only you can do it for you. And it amazes me how many people, well, even myself, I resisted it for so long, where I wanted to meditate, like the whole idea of it just seemed so difficult. And it's really not that difficult. Like if you can't do it in, like the way where you're just completely releasing everything in your mind. If you can't do it that way, do a guided meditation, right? Like get into your mind, releasing the monkey brain that we all carry around with us, right? Yeah. But you're right about, in order to move beyond stuff, we have to take responsibility for our own actions in our lives.
Absolutely.
And, and like you said, it may not, you feel like it feels like you're saying something negative, but I agree with you 100%. I don't think it's negative. I think people need to know that anything that's going on in their lives is part of their choice. So if you're not happy, what are you choosing that's making you not happy? If you need more joy in your life, what are you choosing that's not bringing enough joy in? So it's just being responsible. And once I got that, John, and it was probably only about 15 years ago that I really got that. And it was like that awareness from my guides, my team, that was, no one has the power to make you happy. No one has the power to make you sad. So no one can upset you. No one can make you unhappy. No one can make you blissfully, joyfully happy. It is impossible for anybody else to do that for you. It is a choice because it's an emotion, a feeling and an emotion that we alone choose. So once I got that, it was like, oh, okay. So if I'm upset right now, I'm actually choosing to be upset. Or if I'm really happy, I'm actually choosing to be in joy right now. So it's really easy once you get it, right? Now I get. Sorry, go ahead.
I used to do that myself, when I was growing up, because I had a diagnosed with learning disability and all these things. So I used to go into these stories and be, it's everybody else's fault except for mine. But I come to a place in my life about 3 years ago when I went through an awakening that it was no one else but me.
Yeah.
And I start to realize that I am in control here.
Yeah.
I am control my life.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people. It's hard for people to understand this. But once you get it, your energy, your vibration goes up, and you clear out that energy, and you become a different person. And anybody can heal. Anybody can heal. I can tell you that right now.
100%.
Do so.
100%. I think a lot of that, because we're on that sort of wavelength, that changing the vibration thing. So if you're in victim mode, that's a very low vibration. And when we're in victim mode, we only will attract more victim energy. Like we need confirmation that we are victims. So we're only going to ever see negatives in the world. So it's really important if you find that, like you said, you're pointing at others for your life not going well. I've blamed everybody. My goodness, I was like the biggest blamer, finger pointer, right? But that old saying, two come back for every that go out. And it wasn't until I had that, Liz, you're kind of the one in control here. Take the wheel. For God's sake, take the wheel, right? So, interesting. I love that, we're on the same page with that. One of the other things that you had mentioned was that you believe we're all psychically connected. So, that goes into, we can go in a number of different avenues with just that statement, but what's your thoughts on us being psychically connected? How does that work for you?
Exactly how we're talking about right now, even though we're not talking about the psychic link at this point, we're talking about consciousness.
Right.
We're learning how to master consciousness. When we learn how to master consciousness, then our intuition grows. We learn how to communicate with spirit. We learn how to communicate with the other side. It's all part of the awakening. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said I was fully awakened, because it's not true.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But I'm going through the process like everybody else, and I'm at a stage where I have connected. I have a clear channel to the divine. I hear him all the time. I hear that inner voice all the time. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. And what's the difference between psychic and mediumship? Like, everybody wants to know what that difference is. It's the same. It's basically you're connecting the same way, obviously, but you're connecting the spirit And then you have your psychic intuition, obviously picking up things about someone's life. But it's still non-physical energy that you're connecting to anyways. I mean, if you're picking up on, if I'm reading for you, Liz, and I pick up, oh my God, there's something going on with your relationship, right?
Yeah.
And I say that, okay, something going on, and then just an example here, it's non-physical energy I'm picking up on the same way I would connect the spirit. So really, is there any difference from both? Is there any difference from both? Now, how we interpret those messages might be different, how we're communicating, you know, the awareness or whatever, but it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. They're both connected as one, right?
I agree. I agree.
Everybody's had it here, right? Everybody that's listening today, or, you know, you've had those gut feelings where something does not feel right. You're like, oh my God, I got to turn around. I got to go here. And then you realize, oh, that's your intuition. So what I help people do is bring your awareness back to that intuition.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And then once you get back to it, then you can make decisions based on how it feels. And when you start making decisions based on how it feels, then everything else falls into place. So you have, you know, you can make better choices in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is a superpower. I try to explain that because I work a lot with kids, and you know, you had mentioned that, you know, everybody's becoming more aware. We're coming into 2020, which is 4, right? When you add up 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, it equals a 4. And 4 energy is love energy. So we're coming into a really great year for people just calming down and showing some more love out there, which is, thank goodness for that. But I've noticed with the kids that are coming in now, from where I used to work with kids going back, you know, 15, 20 years ago to now, they're so much more enlightened and really tuned in. Like, they're just dialed right in. And I love it because it's just unapologetic. It's where we had to kind of go through that fear base. Like, how long, like, you've obviously known your whole life, or would you say that's an accurate statement? Yeah.
I've always had my whole life, and it's, you know, when we're children, we're not thinking, we're not using the mind, we're just flowing in that energy.
Yeah.
We're flowing energy, and we're just,
it's,
you know,
pure.
When your kids I saw Grandpa in my dream, or I'm talking to Grandpa right now. They're really talking to Grandpa.
Yeah. They're
not making it up. It's not their imagination. Yeah. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so beautiful and it's so pure. And I think the beautiful thing about today's day, like today's industry, is this is more accepted, so that it's not a scary, like, the fear is coming out of this, which is so wonderful because it has been a fearful thing for so long. And I think that that finally, the veil lifting on the fear is going to make the world such a better place. The more consciously aware everybody is, it just, you can't live in anger or frustration. You just can't, can you? When you're consciously aware, you just can't. It's impossible. I mean, you can have moments, blips of moments where you're heightened, you know, like, because you're human, so we'll have these little moments of frustration or anger, but it's washed out so quickly because you're so aware that it no longer represents what it used to. Make sense?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you'll come, as you develop your intuition and you awaken your true self, you'll come in and out of consciousness. You will maybe go back to your mind and start chattering again and start identifying and start making a storyline up, but you will come back to this place of peace. It comes in and out, and then eventually it comes to a place where you stay in it for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And it gets longer and longer and longer. Yeah. You feel more peace, more joy. And the longer that goes on, obviously the more the better life is going to be for you, because when we're flowing in this energy, this divine energy, everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
You're projecting. Everything's a projection of your energy. So we're talking about consciousness. If you feel sad, you're projecting that energy. If you feel love, you're projecting that energy. So what do you think? So everything, everything happens. People wonder why do things happen in threes? Well, it's very simple. You're upset about something. Maybe your car broke down, and then something else happens, and it's a manifestation that's created in the mind. And that's where we talk about this control thing, that you are in control. You can change that situation. So my main goal here is to tell people that, yes, it's not God's fault that this, whatever happened in your life, you need to let go of that belief.
Yeah.
But you are part of God. God, there is a divine power, and 100%. You're part of that. Once you realize how beautiful you are, once you see that inner light within yourself, then your whole life is going to change. 100%. Your whole life is going to change.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. That, there's a lot great with religion out there, and there's a lot not so great with religion, and the fear that religion puts into people, I'm not a fan of. The whole concept of religion is to love, but it's been so bastardized, I guess, by just different people's point of views. And at the end of the day, it's our conscious awareness and how we react and how we treat others, right? So, no, I agree with you. It all does come down to us. And one of the things you mentioned, like, you're not there yet, and my firm belief is we never reach that full, utopic 100% awareness. I don't think anybody human can reach that. I think that happens when we finally make it to the other side, when we get home and we become pure spirit again. I think that's when we have the awareness, the full awareness. But this is like the task in the lifetime, is to just keep raising that vibration constantly. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're all getting there. We're all, like, everybody's going through our different levels of awareness, different levels of understanding, but there's no really right or wrong. I mean,
exactly.
At the end of the day, everybody has different beliefs, so it don't matter if you're Catholic, Protestant.
Yeah.
It don't matter. It's all the same thing that you're connecting to. When you go to church, you're connecting to divine.
Yeah.
Same energy we connect to. I just choose not to go to church. That's just my choice. I'm not against it.
Yeah, know? Exactly. Me too. I'm the same as you. I remember feeling sort of almost jealous of people that had that connection with the church, that their lives seemed to be so blissful and full of joy. And I thought, why can't I bring myself there? Like, why can't I just do it? And there was always there was something there, but I had a hang up with God because my brother passing when I was a kid, which, we talked about that earlier, about how you could have hang-ups from your childhood that are still very prevalent in your day-to-day today. And it will create a storyline, like you had mentioned, for you today. And you're not even aware that it's something that's happened when you were a child. So if, like you said, I love the idea of writing stuff down, and go, maybe you could ask yourself, why am I so unhappy today? What is not just the immediate, somebody cut me off, or my spouse yelled at me, or nobody's helping me. Go right back. Like, why do you feel that nobody helps you? Like, keep stripping back the layers and get to the root cause of it. And if you can do that, then you can see that it's really something that you have control to release. Everything you have the control to release, right? Would you agree? So everything. It's, yeah. So, we kind of went over a couple of tips, but is there any other tips that anybody watching this, so we talked about meditation, writing stuff down. Is there any other tips to help them get into consciousness, to get to their heart center?
It's funny you ask. There's a lot of different techniques that I use, but really, just pick the focal point in your heart chakra. It's the middle of your chest, and sit there for a little while. You might not feel energy right away because you haven't done this before, but give it a couple weeks, give it a month, and sit there and just in a quiet place, 10 minutes a day. And I guarantee you by the end of the month that you'll start feeling this love that I'm talking about. Your heart will open up. And as soon as your heart opens up, you're going to start hearing this inner voice, and that dialogue of the mind is your intuition, and that's what I help people get into. It's a very simple thing to do. It's really not hard at all.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're having a conversation with yourself, but it's really not yourself that you're talking to. It's actually spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I teach in mediumship. When I teach people mediumship, I make it very simple for people to understand. And everybody has their own way of, their own style of mediumship. And not every medium's going to see it the same way.
Exactly.
Not every medium's going to see it the same way. I mean, I'm clairvoyant too, but I see all my channel, all my clairsenses work together as one.
Absolutely.
But just tips, if you just want to, really start off here, if you really want to find out how gifted you are, sit there, write down a few questions about your life. And maybe it could be throughout the day. Maybe it's something happening throughout the day. And ask yourself the question, is this going to go well today? I have a job interview. Is this going to go well? Feel it, write it down. Yes or no. Go to that job interview, and then see how accurate you are, and just start there.
Yeah.
Start journaling everything, and then your intuition will grow from that.
100%.
So that's what I recommend for people starting out.
Perfect. And that's, the theme of this show is always about journaling and keeping your thoughts on paper. It's so valuable. If people could just know, right, just how valuable that is. Such a great tip. Now, one last question, because we're going to wrap this up soon, but it's just a small, tiny little question, John. But how do you see humans evolving in the future as a result of becoming more consciously aware?
How do I see it happening?
Yeah.
I feel like right now, I think it's going to grow. I mean, the younger generation has changed so much, and I'm not against the church, but I don't foresee that churches are going to be there forever. I guarantee you the next 20 years, everything's going to change. And I've seen it, younger people coming on my Facebook Lives, and they're interested, and they're opening up the spirit. And that's how it's going to happen. Now, the social media thing is such a big thing because we can reach so many people on that platform. Yeah. And that's where Spirit put me right now. And I strongly believe it's because we have so many people that are lost, but they start realizing that there's something else going on here. And I can guarantee right now, I can tell you there's definitely something else going on. There's no coincidence in everything that happens. No. Yeah. That divine power is with everyone. There is something that if you ask for divine guidance and you're going through something, you will receive it.
Yeah.
You will receive it in one shape or another. It might not show up right away. It might take a day or two. It might take a week. It might take a month. But it'll show up. I can guarantee you that.
I agree. And one of the things that I would also add to that is if you're finding yourself in any kind of challenge or trauma in your life, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Ask the different question, what can I do to change this? If we get out of the whys, that's a very victim-y statement, and into the what can I do to change this?
Yes.
It just changes the game, right? It just changes the game. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here and hearing your insight, Jonathan. Thank you so much. We just have to remember, folks, that we are in control of our thoughts, and we are in control of our actions. And if we just put a little mindfulness into the day, every day, it's like eating an elephant. Before you know it, you've eaten the whole thing, and you're just right on board. So thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been amazing.